Hello and welcome to Mindful Living, where we explore the art of living with the intention, balance, and inner peace. I am Avik, your host, guiding you through conversations on health, meditation, mental well being, mindfulness, and the mind body connection. Each episode features expert insights to help you grow, heal, and thrive. So, take a deep breath, relax, and join us on this journey to a more mindful and fulfilling life. So, let's get started.
Hello and welcome back, listeners, to the Mindful Living podcast, where we explore the transformative power of mindfulness. I'm your host, Sana, and today we have a special guest for you, Ken Cox, also known as the Sobriety Gladiator, who's not just an author, but a fighter in every sense. With his upcoming book, Reclaim Sobriety 12 Rounds of Sobriety, Ken combines his raw recovery journey with no nonsense strategies that pack a punch. From fighting addiction to running multi million dollar businesses, Ken's journey is a true testament to all of us, to resilience, mental clarity, and emotional strength. So, if you're ready to hear how mindfulness can help reclaim your life, whether it's for sobriety, stress, or success, you won't want to miss this knockout episode. So, let's get ready and dive deep. Ken, welcome to the show, and it is an absolute pleasure having you with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Okay, Ken, in your book, Reclaim Sobriety, you describe your journey as a 12 round fight. How has mindfulness been your secret weapon in staying grounded, especially when life throws those heavy punches?
Yeah, it is. It is a challenge. It's a very big challenge in the beginning to practice mindfulness, to have a practice that is inward looking instead of outward looking, and it's a very bizarre
Mm-hmm.
thing throughout life as we go through life and we navigate these things. And I don't think I'm alone here, but for a very long time in my life, I thought life was happening to me instead of for me. And I don't think that that's an uncommon thought process for a lot of people. But
Yeah.
if you can change that mindset and realize that this beautiful life is a gift that you get to live, and you want to live it to your fullest, and stop avoiding it,
Mm-hmm.
is a huge piece of that. Now, there are tons of steps on
Yeah.
this path that everybody's going to take, and as you practice mindfulness, it doesn't seem to be a stop, or I've not found one yet. I continue to open up new pathways and new enlightenments throughout my life.
Wow. Lovely, lovely, Ken. So, for someone new to recovery, managing emotional triggers, and I'm going to talk in metaphors, Ken, it can feel like dodging blows. How can mindfulness practices like self awareness help people better understand and navigate those moments of vulnerability or weakness?
Yes. So, boy, you asked some challenging questions right out of the gate, don't you? So on those emotional triggers, a lot of times we are just going through the motions, acting on how we acted previously in those environments. So, I'll just use in business, for example, right? We go to happy hours a lot. And so it's after work, you go to happy hours,
Yeah.
and you mindlessly just do what everybody else is doing, right? You grab the drink, you grab the beer, whatever. And for a lot of people, that might be okay. But for people that struggle with addiction issues, that's a very, very slippery slope. So knowing that you are sober before you go to that party, before you go to that happy hour, will help you avoid that entire scenario, right? Being confident in your sobriety will help you ensure that you're not going to drink in those environments, and which is very, very powerful. So I think that, having a mindfulness practice and living your life whenever these triggers come up
Mm-hmm.
is it gives you the tools that you need to not execute the way that you've executed in the past. And with the triggers, it's a lot of emotions, and unfortunately for alcoholism, every emotion leads back to alcohol. When you're sad or depressed, it leads to alcohol because that takes you out of it. If you're happy, then you're doing it because you want to be able to express yourself in different ways, right? So across the entire gamut, that the addiction process kicks in. So you have to, especially for the first years, be very mindful and tell yourself every single day, I'm a sober person. I'm going to live today without alcohol, and it doesn't have control over me. And whatever mantras you need to develop for yourself, that is very, very important. If you're not living in mindfulness, if you're not living in the moment for who the person that you want to be, then you're just going to fall right back into the same old scenarios, the same practices that you were doing before.
Wow. Yeah, I agree with that. So, mindfulness is often seen as a gentle, calming practice, Ken. But your book frames recovery like a battle. So, do you think mindfulness should be about finding peace or preparing for a mental fight ahead, especially in the context of addiction recovery?
In the context of recovery of addiction, I think it's a fight. You have all of these scenarios that you've lived throughout your life, right? And you've had all these triggers and crutches and tools to get you through them. And that's what you want to do, right? Because it's just the easiest way to feel better. It's the easiest way to know that I can be loose enough and go land a big client. I don't have the anxiety to walk up to somebody and shake their hand. If I'm sad or depressed, I can get rid of that really, really quickly, right? So I have this tool in my box that fixes every problem in my head, right? At least that's what you believe. And then no other tool solves any other problem for you when you're in an active addiction mindset. So alcohol will fix it quickly. It will get you through that moment, and then you just continue to rope moments together, moments of drunkenness together to stay at least somewhat sane. And then that that's killing you long term. So you've got to fight that. And the mindfulness practices, the meditation, the breathing, the self-talk is all awkward and cumbersome, and it doesn't feel very good at the beginning. And some of the things that you need to do, like love and respect yourself, you don't. So you have to be mindful of how to get there. If you can't find love and respect for yourself, then I'm afraid that you probably are doomed.
That is true. That is true, Ken. Great. So you are also running a business and also in the journey of maintaining sobriety. And these are like two different kinds of battles. So, how
Yes.
has meditation and emotional regulation helped you keep your mental clarity while leading your company and managing your personal recovery as well?
Yeah, meditation is huge. It's a strange predicament that I continually find myself in. You meditate for a while and you start to feel great. You can miss a day of meditation and nothing really happens. But then you miss, 4 days and 5 days, and then it's kind of you get out of practice of it. And then your life tends to get more chaotic. Panic attacks start to happen again. Triggers start to bother you a little more. So in the late stages of, where I'm at now, remembering how good meditation is for me is sometimes a challenge. In the beginning, meditation is, I think, required to get there, even if you're struggling to meditate, but taking those, even if it's a 2 or 3 minute meditation practice that you're just attempting to meditate, right? Because a lot of people tell me, oh, I don't know how to meditate or I can't meditate. But if you're attempting to do it, I think what you're doing in those early stages is you're practicing taking care of yourself, even for 2 or 3 minutes. And that is a practice that humans need to have. We need to be taking care of ourselves. And, fortunately for us, we can run our bodies pretty ragged and they continue to run. On the other side, that's very unfortunate because we can get into really toxic behavior traits that last very, very long periods of time and are hard to get out of. So I think in the beginning, it's learning how to do self-care in any kind of way. And it might only be 30 seconds or a minute. Just sitting there and trying to clear your mind for that time gives you the ability to build what I've called a clutch in some cases. We're very reactive people, especially entrepreneurs, right? Because we have to execute at such a high level and we trust our instinct and we trust our gut and we get into that habit of executing. And if we have something that we want or something needs to get out of our way, we execute it at the highest possible efficiency. And it's hard. It's very cloudy in those moments. When you're dealing with emotions and things like that, to say, hey, I know that I can take the time and meditate, which is short term, harder to do, but long term, way easier to maintain. If you just, every time you have a stressful conversation with an employee or a vendor, you just go and blow out some steam at the bar, that's not a very healthy way to exercise that processing of that micro trauma, if you want to call it that.
That is true. That is true. Now, talking about your upcoming book, Ken, more than a memoir, it's a guide for anyone looking to take control of their life, whether they are battling addiction or struggling in their career or just trying to understand the dynamics of mental toughness. What key takeaways can readers take from your book? And also, if you are okay with it, if you can share your own journey of battling addiction and also how you prepared yourself into the journey of entrepreneurship.
Okay. Yeah. So the book Reclaim Sobriety, 12 Rounds of Sobriety, I've been working on it for about 5 years. It's gone through a lot of different transitions, and I'll just step back and give you the premise of the book.
Yep.
I was struggling with addiction for a very long time. I was diagnosed with liver disease. I'm going to paraphrase a lot of that part. In that process, I found the exercise of boxing, not the sport of boxing, but I found the exercise of boxing, and I just absolutely fell in love with it. I ended up buying the boxing gym that I was going to. I still own it today. I love it. It is such a joy.
Wow.
And through this time, I was struggling with my addiction, right? Very, very much so. I had an outlet. I had a place to be. I had exercise. I had a community. I had all these things, but I was still very angry the entire time. And I would have these inner conflicts of, hey, the doctor told you not to drink anymore. You're going to die if you continue doing it. But it's part of who I am. And it's been my best friend for my entire life. It's a very simple fix to a lot of my issues, although I can see the other issues with my wife and children not looking at me the way they should. My doctor telling me that, I'm not going to be making it, not executing at highest levels possible in my businesses. So I just wasn't happy for a very long time. When I started my youth boxing team, we started, I recognized very quickly that I have to take young boys and girls that are in a lot of cases awkward and they don't do well in team sports. If they fall in love with this sport of boxing, and I transitioned to the sport of boxing outside of the exercise of it. I competed in Golden Gloves 3 times. I did finally get a championship in the Golden Gloves in St. Louis, and I started this youth boxing team. And I knew that I had to harden their mindsets because it's very challenging to step into a boxing ring for lots of reasons, right? The possibility of humility. Am I good enough? Did I train hard enough? All of these things go through you, and you have to do them without any kind of third-party substance. So I developed a set of core values for them.
Mm-hmm.
And there's 12 core values, and then we go over them every day, every single class, every single time that we do it, we go over them. Whenever we break those core values, we talk about them and how bad it makes us feel and all those things. And through, a several series of events, I realized that I'm coaching these kids to change their mindset and who they are, right? I would see them grow from, an awkward teenager to a teenager that competed in a boxing match and won or lost and walked out with their head high and they were proud of themselves. And I'm like, I need to
Mm-hmm.
figure out how to do that for myself. So I started the process of coaching myself instead of going to therapy. I still went to therapy. I still went to group. And what I wanted to do with the book was create something that was entertaining,
Mm-hmm.
didn't demonize people for drinking, right? I don't want to do that. And then what I really truly believe is I have two fundamental beliefs here. One is that if you believe you're an alcoholic, you will be an alcoholic. There's no way around that. So standing up once a week or every day and saying, "I'm an alcoholic," I believe you're always not. You're going to have problems. I just don't know how you can avoid it. Thing that I realized when you create a set of core values and they become part of who you are. If you
Mm-hmm.
conflict with your core value, you feel horrible. It's not a good feeling. So, standing up and proclaiming you're an alcoholic might be part of the process to quit for a lot of people. But I think it keeps you in that mindset. It gives you the excuses to relapse. So I believe that if you believe you're an alcoholic, you'll always be an alcoholic. And also believe that if you conflict from your core values in life, then it feels horrible and you won't do it for very often. So those are two fundamentals of the book that I have in there is stop identifying as the thing that you don't want to be and start identifying as a sober gladiator if that's what you need to. And then develop a set of core values for yourself that you hold yourself accountable to and keep working on those things. I think if you do those two things, just those two things, you'll see remarkable things happen in your life.
Wow, wow. Yeah, that was beautiful, and congratulations and all the best for your upcoming book. And if our listeners want to get access of your book or connect with you, maybe they have their own journeys, own battles to share with you, how they can do that.
Yes, if you go to reclaimsobriety.com today, between now and November 19th, you can go there and you get a free copy of the PDF and you can download it, read it. It's 100% free until November 19th. We're finishing the edits. On November 19th, it will be released everywhere. I'm not sure if it's going to be picked up at the local bookstores yet or not. My previous book is doing very well, so we're hopeful for this one, but time will tell. The reviews that are coming in right now are phenomenal. Uh,
Yeah.
and I tried to make an entertaining, non-demonizing book that provided the reader with a lot of tools that
Mm-hmm.
are maybe worded a different way, so maybe they can hear them differently from a different point of view from somebody that's been through it themselves, and then they can use those tools. And I think this is recovery. I think is a recipe that's going to be different for everybody, and you just need a lot of tools. And some of them are going to work great, and some of them aren't, and you're going to need different tools at different levels of your path.
Lovely, lovely. We'll have the details mentioned in the show notes. And wow, Ken, what an insightful conversation we had. And you have truly shown us how mindfulness can be a powerful ally, not just in reclaiming sobriety, but also in conquering life's challenges, whether personal or professional. So your journey is a reminder that clarity and strength, they go hand in hand. So thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
And for everyone listening, if you're ready to step into the ring and take control of your life, whether you are battling addiction, stress, or just the daily grind, don't forget to check out Ken's upcoming book, Reclaim Sobriety 12 Rounds of Sobriety. And trust me, It's packed with practical strategies and inspiration that you can apply right now. You just heard him in our conversation today. So you can refer the show notes along with this episode on your favorite podcast platform. And thanks so much to all of you for tuning into Mindful Living. And if you found value in today's conversation, make sure to subscribe, share, and leave us a review. And remember, a mindful mind leads to a mindful life. Stay grounded, and we'll see you in the next episode. Thank you.